Right then, welcome back to my channel, and finally, I've been promising you for a long time, but I've got a kind of shoe review, a kind of summary of the trainers I'm using in my marathon training. So I rotate a bunch of trainers, I use them for different things, and I thought it'd be interesting for me to just quickly run through what I'm using and why. So you see lots of shoe reviews on YouTube, and I will start doing some more detailed shoe reviews, but for me, the important things are the comfort, what they're used for, and whether they perform. Yes, it's great if they look good. Yes, it's nice to know the different types of foam and the offsets and all of that. And I will cover that really briefly. But for me, the main purpose of this video is to talk about the trainers I'm using, why I'm using them, why these 5 trainers have made my running rotation. At the end of the video, I'm going to do some data analysis. Might be boring, so if you're not interested in data, you can switch off. But if you are interested in my heart rate at different paces for these trainers, stay until the end of the video where I'm going to quickly summarize what I found with each trainer. But the most important thing isn't that data analysis. The most important thing is why I'm using these trainers and how they're performing. Anyway, let's get straight into it. I realized that was not getting straight into it. What should we start with? Okay, let's start with the Nike Zoom, this is a mouthful, the Nike Zoom Pegasus Turbo 2. So it's the second iteration of this trainer. We had the Pegasus Turbo 1, and this is the Pegasus Turbo 2. I'm not saying that again. I absolutely love this trainer. So I'll do the boring stuff first. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, it's 8 ounces, means nothing to me. Apparently 231 grams in a size 9. But I'll tell you what really annoys me is I decided to quickly find out what the weights of these trainers were, and it was really difficult. I went to the official website, I went to different retailers, and lots of them don't give you the weight, or some of the websites don't give you the stack height and the offset. Come on guys, that's simple stuff. So I would appreciate all of these websites to make that the first thing they tell you. What's the weight? What's the offset? Boom, let's get on with it. Anyway, I've got a little weighing scales. So this is a size 10 in the UK. So for me, okay, so for a UK size 10 used Pegasus Turbo 2, 242 grams, which is pretty light. The offset is 8 millimeters, so the forefoot 16 millimeters, the back is 24 millimeters, and then the offset is 8. Right, that's the boring stuff out of the way. There's 2 types of foam in this. You've got the special expensive foam, which is the Zoom X foam, which is really light, really soft and spongy, but a great energy return. That's the word I was looking for. It really does spring back and give you that energy. Apparently it gives, what was the stats? I think a normal foam gives you 65% of energy return, whereas the Zoom X gives you 85%, which is a huge gain. So that's the foam you'll find also in their faster VAPORFLY trainers. But they've also added the harder, more durable React foam, which is a great foam. It's a bit heavier than the Zoom X foam, but it's more durable and it's also really responsive as well. It's got an upper. Everyone goes into these uppers. Like, unless there's something revolutionary, I don't really care. The upper's nice. It fits the foot well. I can't really think of anything else to say. You know, when they go into all these details, yes, we've got some rubber at the bottom. Don't know if you can see that. These have done loads and loads and loads of miles. And that rubber, let's be honest, is looking pretty good. I don't know if you can see, but I'm happy with that. So I was told these weren't going to be that durable, but they have smashed in the miles. Actually, one thing I should point out is I bought a second pair of these, a red pair, and I only wore them twice, and the heel, where those 2 foams meet, so the Zoom X and the React, it came apart, like properly, completely came apart. After like 2 runs, one of those runs was in absolutely torrential rain. So I think I just had a faulty pair, because obviously the glue hadn't stuck properly and they came apart, but it was fine. The retailer I got them from gave me a full refund, and at the time I was like, I'm not going back to the Pegasus Turbo 2, they're rubbish. But after putting so many miles into these, I would get another pair. What else was I going to say? They're £160, so they're expensive. They're expensive trainer, a premium trainer. But let's get to what I came here to talk about. Oh my God, I've been waffling. What do I use these for? So I've been using these for my daily running. But they're such a versatile trainer. Because they're so light, I've been using them on my daily running, but my runs have become steadier, faster. I feel a spring in my step. They're also great for tempos. You can also do intervals in them. You can go long in them. They're cushioned enough to do all of that stuff, but they're light enough to go fast. So they're the sort of trainer you just want to, they're the sort of trainer that you could jog to the track, do a track workout, jog home, and they're light enough to do the faster stuff, but they're cushioned enough and comfortable enough to do the slower stuff. I think we should move on because I've spent a lot of time on these. I would definitely recommend them. They are expensive, but if you've got the money, and I actually been really surprised with the durability of them because I've absolutely smashed in the miles. I'm still wearing them now, and I had them ages ago, months ago. And I do quite a fair few miles, as you've seen in my training. So yeah, I would definitely recommend them, but I have moved on to another trainer, which I'm using more often than these at the moment. The New Balance Propel. So I got recommended these by Colin McCourt. You should go and check his channel out. He's got a daily running vlog. He said, oh, these are a bargain. They're knocked down. Everywhere's got them cheap. They're great. They're like the Turbo 2. Well, I love the Turbo 2. So I went online, got a pair. I picked up a pair for, I think it was 50 or 60 quid. It was an absolute bargain. They're not that cheap anymore. They've gone back up. I think you can get them, actually, I'll tell you. You can get them for £80 on Pro Direct Running if you're a guy. If you're a girl, you can get them for 50 quid on Pro Direct Running. Absolute bargain. I would strongly, strongly recommend you get one of these for your training. So let's go through the stats. 6mm drop. And I couldn't find the weight. I couldn't find the weight. So let's weigh them. Size 10 again, UK. Let's tear this. 285 grams. 285 grams for the New Balance Propel UK size 10. So that's light as well. Not quite as light as the Pegasus Turbo 2, but anything under 300 grams I find a light trainer, and 285 is great. What I love about these is they're not as, I wouldn't say they're as soft as the Turbo 2, but they are soft. They're really responsive. They're really, you just bounce along the road. A little bit firmer than the Turbo 2, but really soft, cushioned, comfortable. It's minimal trainer, but it's just comfortable enough. I use these as my absolute daily trainer, getting out the door, easy miles, steady miles. I don't do sessions in them. I do sessions in the Turbo 2. I don't do sessions in these. I don't find they run as fast as the Turbo 2s, but they're such a good daily trainer. You can do long runs in them. You can just get out the door and, I love them. You feel like they're so comfortable you want to run in them. One thing I have found, there we go, there's the rubber on the bottom. I've done loads of miles in these and it's held up pretty well if you can have a look. Is there a bit rubbish in slippery conditions? I haven't actually found it that bad. A little bit slippery. Kelly's found them really quite slippery in the wet conditions. But this is a trainer, especially if you can get a bargain price. Pro Direct Running, 80 quid, 50 quid. For what is it, a premium trainer? Well, it's durable and I use it every day, so for me that's premium enough. So yeah, I would get out, try these. They're an old trainer now, so you can get some really bargain prices, but I would strongly recommend them. So thanks, Colin, for the recommendation. These are a winner. So those Pegasus Turbo 2, New Balance Propel, they are my daily workhorse trainers. But then, throw into the mix, I don't know if that's focusing, is it? Adidas Ultra Boost 20. So I've tried Adidas trainers before, never tried the Ultra Boost, always wanted to. Well, I got sent these, so I'm going to say thank you. I got sent these for free by Pro Direct Running. I think it's important that I make it clear when a pair of trainers has been sent to me. There was no expectations of me to do a YouTube review, but I wanted to because I'm using them in my rotation. These are a heavier trainer, but there's a good use for that. There's loads and loads of cushioning. Let's have a look at the stats. So a 10mm heel drop on this one, 22mm at the back, 12 at the front. But it's loads of this amazing Ultra Boost foam. It's just, it's great. Really, really cushioned ride. I absolutely love, you know the brand Continental? You know, they make all the tires. They've got loads and loads of that rubber on the bottom. This is a durable trainer. You know you're gonna get thousands of miles, maybe not thousands, but loads of miles in these trainer. I've done loads, and honestly, the bottom looks like I've hardly worn them. The upper's held up well, and the foam looks great. They're just a great, great workhorse of a trainer. Let's weigh them. It says 310 grams for a UK 8.5. Well, some sites are telling me the size 9 weight. Some sites are telling me the size 10 weight. I need the consistency. $358 grams for a used pair of Ultra Boost 20. So it's heavy. It's a heavy trainer, and that's what I like about it. So sometimes I go a bit quick on my easy runs, and I shouldn't, and I know I shouldn't. These slow me down. That seems like a strange thing to say, but wearing a really, really comfortable ride where you don't feel like you're going to get injured, you feel like you're wearing a daily workhorse of a trainer, and it slows you down. The weight does make you not want to run as fast. You just chill out, listen to your music, listen to your podcast, get the miles done in comfort, but without that temptation to push on the pace. So I don't run fast in these. I put these on when I want to stop myself from going too fast, run in comfort, just plod along, enjoying the sights, enjoying being outside. They're an absolute fantastic trainer. They're probably the most durable trainer I've got on show today. I would highly recommend them. What's the price? Okay, they were £160, which is expensive, but it feels premium. This is a premium trainer. It feels good. But it's down for £135 on the Pro Direct Running site. So I would take a look at this and really consider it. Depends what you're looking for. You might not want loads of trainers. If you're looking for one comfortable trainer which is just going to go out and do every run, then this is the one. Maybe not for speed work, but again, it depends on what your speed work looks like. Maybe this is a marathon trainer for you. Maybe you need all that extra comfort. So yeah, a great, neutral, premium, durable workhorse of a trainer. Right, what should we move on to? I guess it's the Nike VAPORFLY 4%. Well, this trainer has had a lot of attention. If you haven't heard of it, then I'm very, very surprised. But it's an old trainer now, and they've stopped making them, and you can't get hold of them. But I thought I'd put it in, well, unless you're like tiny or huge feet, you just can't get hold of these trainers. But I did at a bargain price. They were reduced. I think I got them for $130 or something, which is really cheap for an absolutely fantastic, fast trainer. Let's do all the other stuff. Right. What have we got? 10mm drop. So that's 21mm in the forefoot, 31 in the heel. Interestingly enough, I looked at a bunch of reviews and they all said 11mm drop. And yet, when you go to the official Nike website, it says 10mm. So I don't know how this false information has got out, or if I'm wrong, or if Nike's wrong, Nike, whatever you say. Let's get the weight. $213 grams. This is light. You know, I was saying that Turbo 2 was light at, what was that, 260 or something. This is light, 213 grams. But that's not why it's so good. there's plenty of light trainers out there. This has the really, 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 really great foam. This is the Zoom X foam. It's super light, but the main thing is that 85% energy return. It gives you back the energy you're putting into the road. Add into that, it's got a carbon fiber plate all the way along. Makes it really stiff, but it means it almost propels you down the road. So you make contact with that road in the really soft, responsive foam. The stiffness of the plate works with that foam and it just springs you forward. I find my stride lengths longer, I run faster, I'm more efficient in these trainers. They're absolutely brilliant. Some downsides, the durability. I don't know if you can see that. The foam started to fray. The rubber's actually done all right. Not very good grip. It's not very good in the wet conditions, but the foam, any bit of exposed foam is just starting to peel. But I love this trainer for workout days. I would be racing in them, but we're yet to talk about the next percent. They'll be a great race trainer, but I love just getting fast tempos done, intervals. They're just such a fast trainer. If you're running fast, this is the trainer for you. They're discontinued. I don't know why I'm banging on about them. I wish they weren't. One of the things I love about them, I love this FLYKNIT. I know it's heavier than the Vaporwave on the next percent, but it feels good on the foot. This feels and looks more like a traditional trainer than the next iterations of the VAPORFLY. It feels like that looks like a normal trainer, but it's not. It's not a normal trainer. It's extraordinary. It's fantastic. But they're gone, so this will be my last pair, and I'm going to run them into the ground. The foam is now less responsive because I've put loads of miles into them, but it doesn't really matter. It's still a light trainer that's propelling me down the road with that carbon fiber plate, so I'm going to run all the miles in them. I actually find they work really well as well. When you've got the bounce of the treadmill, these, light with the plate, fantastic. So on the treadmill, I don't even care about that foam. I'm just going to run them into the ground. Right then, it's here. It's my race day trainer and my long run trainer. It is the Nike VAPORFLY Next Percent. It's been all over the news. You've all heard about it. If you haven't tried it, you've got to try it. You've got to. You have. Oh, there's all this like, oh, is it technical doping? Well, the IAAF, World Athletics, have now finally made a decision. They've put the rules out there. It's not banned. That was fake news. Do I wish they were? Right. Here's my view. When they first came out and I heard about all the fuss, I don't know, I was a bit disappointed because it changed the game. Unless you were wearing these, you've got a disadvantage. Now I'm wearing them, I'm less concerned, as you'd expect. I don't know. I'll tell you what I do love about them. They're a fun trainer. Fun and fast. It's got absolutely loads of that Zoom X light responsive cushioning I was talking about. It's got that plate. This is the perfect marathon trainer for a bunch of reasons. Number one is it's so fast. Longer stride length. That plate works really well. They're really light. Number two is you recover better in them. You feel less fatigued during the run. You hit 20 miles and your legs don't feel as beaten up. But also you recover better after long runs or marathons or whatever you've done in them generally. So you recover better, which means you can stay more consistent in your training, but you also run faster. They're just unreal. The things I don't like is that they are so much better than the competitor trainers at the moment. And that does leave me feeling a bit uneasy. But all of the competitors are now bringing out their rival trainers with really responsive light foam and a carbon fiber plate. So hopefully we'll be in a position where it doesn't matter what brand you're sponsored by or what brand you go and buy trainers from, that they're pretty even and it doesn't matter, and it's whoever's been training hardest and is fitter that wins on the day. That's important to me. But let's get back to this trainer because it's fantastic. Let's weigh it. Did I find a weight? I don't think I went. Oh yeah, I did find a weight. 183.5 grams. But then again, it's a different size to the other size. Let's see. This is a size 10. So 216 grams. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, I got a bigger, I was thinking, that's not 180 grams, but I got a bigger size shoe. Okay, so 216 grams. That's light for a UK size 10. Really light. But so much cushioning and that propulsion of the plate. Oh, I love it. Like I said earlier, it's got this vapor weave upper, which is a new material. The advantages of this, I love the feel of the FLYKNIT on the 4%, but it retains water, so your trainers get heavier in those wet conditions. And in the last few miles of a marathon, you don't want heavy wet trainers. This vapor weave just doesn't retain the water. It's so thin, you actually ruin the style of the shoe. Whatever colour socks you're wearing underneath, you can see the socks through this almost like crepe paper, see-through material. I was worried, oh, it's going to rip, it's not going to be durable. I've smashed in the miles in 3 pairs of VAPORFLY NEXT now, and I haven't got any tears or any issues, with any of them. So I actually think this is a really strong yet very thin material. Doesn't retain the water, is super light. Are these trainers comfortable? They're comfortable enough. You have to make sure the tongue is nice and flat because it can be difficult to get the trainer on and the tongue nice and smooth. But these trainers, they're so expensive. They're £240, but they're so good. I don't care what pace you're running at, they're so good. And I hate to admit it, but if you wear these, you do run faster. If you went and did a park run in your normal racing flats, and then the next week put a pair of these on, if the conditions are the same, you run faster. It's as simple as that. So if you want to invest in something very expensive but very fast and fun to run in, the VAPORFLY NEXT are the ones for you. Let's make a note. At this current moment, they're impossible to get hold of. I've looked at hundreds of websites and these are out of stock everywhere. Which frustrates me again because it's meant to be an even playing field. I want it so anyone who wants to race in these fast trainers can get a pair. Well, at the moment you can't. So if you do see them come on sale, snap them up because they're insane. I should note that the next iteration of the VAPORFLY are coming out in the UK, I think in March, which is this month, hopefully soon. They've already been released in the States. They sold out in 5 minutes. I was actually trying to buy a pair from the States, but they wouldn't accept my UK debit card. So hopefully these will come down in price. I'm not sure if they will. I do want to try the AlphaFly, which is the next iteration of the VAPORFLY, AlphaFly NEXT%. But right now, this is the best trainer on the market, even though you can't get hold of these either. But if you can get a pair, get a pair, try a pair. They're fast, they're fun, they're expensive. Everyone talks about the durability. I do a lot of miles in these actually. I do my long runs in them because I recover so well. Some sessions I do in them, not all my sessions, and then obviously race days. The problem is the foam, the more miles you do on that foam, the less responsive it becomes. So I keep a pair back for my A-goal races. So if I've got an important marathon, I'll keep a pair nice and fresh, ready for marathon day. Once I've used it in that marathon, it then becomes my session trainer, or I might save it for a half, maybe a couple of halves, but then it becomes just a session trainer, long run trainer for those faster long runs. I just love how you recover well in them, you run fast in them, it gives you confidence. A fantastic trainer. £240, did I say that? I'm not sure. I can't remember if I said the drop. It's 8mm drop. So this 10mm drop in the VAPORFLY 4% or 11, according to some people, they've changed that to an 8mm drop. You know, this drop business, I don't really notice the difference. These are fast, these are fast. These are slow, but they're comfortable. These are really versatile, really comfortable, and light enough to run pretty steady in. And these are your do-it-all. Absolutely brilliant trainer. Light, fast, responsive, but very expensive. Right, I'm gonna now move on to the data side of things. So well done if you've got this far in the video. It's time to talk data, so get your geek spectacles on and let's do this. I've come inside out of the wet shed and it's now daddy daycare, so I'm looking after Harry. So I don't know if you can see, he's getting some milk, but we're going to do this video anyway. So I'm going to load up the data now and let's have a look. First of all, let me tell you what I did. It's not a scientific test, it's just a test that I put together to compare the trainers, compare the efficiency I run in each trainer. So what I did is I ran at 2 paces in each trainer, 7 minutes per mile and 5:40 minutes per mile. What I would call is an easy steady pace for me and my marathon PB pace. So let's have a look. What did I do? So what I did is I ran 5 minutes at easy, 5 minutes at the harder pace, and then changed trainers and repeated for each trainer. I did a 5 minutes warm up to get my heart rate up because I didn't want that to affect the results, because obviously if I did 5 minutes in the first trainer easy, it would have been really low average heart rate for that 5 minutes because my heart rate wouldn't have been up where it would be. So to make it a fair test, I did a little bit of a warm up. So if you look at the table, I started in the same order that I reviewed the trainers. Started in the Turbo 2. If we go through the easy column, 138 average heart rate in the Turbo 2, again 138 in the Propel, which was surprising. Ultra Boost, the heavier trainer, was a bit more, 141. Get the 4% on, drops to 137. Get the next percents on, it drops to 136 for that easy 7 minutes per mile. That's interesting because at that stage, you could be like, oh, you're getting tired, you're getting fatigued, you've just done 5 minutes easy and 5 minutes fast in every other trainer, and despite that, the next percent was my lowest heart rate at that 7 minutes per mile pace. At the faster paces, the 5:40 minutes per mile, we've got 154 average heart rate for the Turbo 2s, 158 for the Propels, 159 as expected, it's going up in the Ultra Boost. It drops again in the 4% and drops again in the next percent. Again, that last 5 minutes in the next percent, I've done all of the other running at that stage and still it's the joint lowest heart rate for that pace. Interesting that the Turbo 2 was 154 as well for that faster pace. Just shows how good the turbos are, even though I've run loads of miles in them and that foam isn't as responsive. But we have to take into account, it was the first trainer, it was the first time we'd been hitting marathon pace, so it did have a huge advantage over the other trainers. What I also did as a cool down, I put the Turbo 2s back on, did 5 minutes again at 7 minutes per mile to see what my heart rate was in those same trainers that I started with after all of those efforts. And it was 138, which is exactly what it was the first time. So although you'd expect a heart rate drift through the session, it wasn't as noticeable as you may have expected, especially at those lower heart rates. I should have, and I wish I had, done another 5 minutes at the hard pace in the Turbo 2s at the end, just to find out how it coped then, and that would have been a great comparison against the next percent. I've also put a column in for maximum heart rate, so the maximum heart rate during the 5 minutes of each trainer. Again, as you'd expect, the lowest was next percent, despite being the last effort. You've got Ultra Boost 20 at the easy pace, maxed out at 149, which shows just how much just how much more difficult it is to run in those heavier trainers. I did feel a bit clumsy in them actually on the treadmill. I haven't worn them on the treadmill before. Yeah, so anyway, I thought I'd put this data, you make of it what you like. I think it's really fascinating that despite all those extra efforts I'd done before, that the next percent has outperformed everything. Closely followed by the 4%, but the Turbo 2 again is right there, but it did have the advantage of going first. The Propel, I wasn't expecting it to perform really well, but it's a comfortable trainer that works well and is really versatile, and I just love how comfortable it is at steady paces. So I think that's probably the end of my video. I hope you've enjoyed this overview of what I've been wearing. Harry? Harry's finished his milk. Do you want to say hi? The little future marathoner? Hello. Oh, that's a wave, is it? Harry says hi. This is the end of the video. Like, subscribe if you enjoyed. I'm going to get hold of a foot pod and I'm going to do some more shoe reviews, some more data. I love heart rate data, especially with the chest strap. Wrist data is absolutely awful. But I want some more metrics to show you. So anyway, those are the 5 trainers I'm using at the moment. I actually have some other trainers arriving or recently arrived which might make it into my rotation, so I'll keep you updated on what I think of those. Like, subscribe, all of that jazz, and I'll see you on Monday for the episode of All In.